Good morning. It is 10 a.m. on September 5th, 2023. We'll call to order a meeting of the Story County Board of Supervisors. Please stand with me if you're able and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to adopt today's agenda?
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Merkin.
Aye.
Hens.
Aye.
Basil. Aye. Now it's time for public comment number 1. This comment period is for the public to address topics on today's agenda. Anyone wishing to make public comment, you can raise your hand on Zoom or step forward to the table. And seeing no one raise their hand or come forward, we'll close public comment number 1. We have no agency reports this morning. We do have 2 sets of minutes, August 22nd and August 29th.
I move approval of the August 22nd and 29th, 2023 minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Hens.
Aye.
Merkin.
Aye.
Basil. Aye. Consideration of personnel actions.
I move approval of personnel actions as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Merkin.
Aye.
Hens.
Aye.
Basil. Aye. Consent agenda.
I move approval of consent agenda items as listed.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Hens.
Aye.
Merkin. Sorry.
Yes. Aye.
Basil. Aye. Sorry, I got lost in reading the agenda.
It happens.
Oh,
It happens.
Okay. Thank you. Moving to public hearing items, we have consideration of resolution 24-18 FY24 budget amendment. Good morning,
Morning.
Lisa.
So the budget amendment was published in all 3 newspapers on 8/24. Thank you for changing the date of this public hearing so that, I could fix my timing, which was off. The revenues overall, were amending in 2.8%, 1.4 million, and expenditures were amending in 13.29%, or 9.1 million. The majority of that, from the documentation, I'm sure you can tell, is movement of ARPA funds and movement of vehicles that didn't get purchased and movement of grants that didn't get completed and movement of roadway construction that didn't get completed. So basically it's a cleanup to move forward any funds that we didn't spend at the end of 23. Any questions?
No.
No? All right. If there are no questions, we will open public hearing. Anyone wishing to make public comment on this item, you can raise your hand on Zoom or step forward to the podium. And seeing no one raise their hand or come forward, we'll close the public hearing. Any further comment?
I move approval of resolution 24-18.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Merkin.
Aye.
Hens.
Aye.
Basil. Aye. Moving now to additional items, discussion and consideration of resolution 24-19 appropriation amendment.
This is going to appropriate the dollars that you just amended in, so that the departments can actually spend those dollars. I will be coming forward with another appropriation amendment sometime in the next couple of weeks, only because I want to go ahead and get everybody their funds for the year. So that we don't run into any issues of people having to pay things up front and not having enough money appropriated, so. But it's pretty straightforward.
Thank you. Any questions?
I move approval of resolution 24-19, the appropriation amendment.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Hens.
Aye.
Merkin.
Aye.
Basil. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving now to discussion and consideration of agreement between Story County and Ehlers and Cooney PC for joint representation and conflict waiver for IUB permit proceedings. Supervisor Merkin?
Sure. Thank you. This was brought up to me at the Iowa State Association of Counties meeting, which we were at a couple weeks ago. And a couple supervisors approached me and asked why Story County was not, had not joined in the intervention as interveners in the Iowa Utilities Board hearings, which are going on now. I said, well, we had talked to the county attorney's office about this. My recollection was we had talked about that when this issue first came up, and our county attorney's office had concerns because if you are an intervener in an IUB hearing, you have to have your representation there all the time. And the county attorney's office didn't feel like, since it could be weeks and maybe months of hearings, that would be a good use, that it would be possible to have an attorney there all the time. So we let that go. What I did not realize is that the several other counties, smaller counties who were intervening, hired the Allers Cooney law firm and Tim Whipple in particular to represent them. So he is in fact representing several counties. I think there's about 9 counties right now who have intervened, and they are paying his bills, and they are all smaller counties than Story County. So they asked me at that point if Story County might be interested in intervening, and I said I would bring that up to the supervisors. In the meantime, okay, and at the time, and I'm sorry, I can't find all of the notes that I had about this, so I'm speaking from memory. I think there are about 9 counties, and Potawatomi was, I think, the largest county that was Potawatomi or Woodbury. One of those was, but otherwise they were small, very much smaller counties that are footing all these bills right now on behalf, basically, of all the landowners in our state and in this area who don't want to have eminent domain exercised against them, don't want the pipeline. You know, we've had concerns in Story County. We have lots of landowners and have a list of a lot of parcels that are up for eminent domain in Story County. I did recently, so what I knew so far is it was about 100,000, I believe, that has been spent so far, and about 125,000 that they estimate will be the rest of the bills towards the representation in the summit hearing. And that's for summit, not navigator. That would be later. I said I would bring this up to us. I thought I had it on the agenda for last week. Unfortunately, I didn't get on. So I got it on this week. In the meantime, last Friday, I got an email from Tim Whipple, the attorney. He said Summit is starting today to do their testimony, and that we probably cannot be formally listed as an intervener now. We are probably too late for that. We certainly could, though, if we wanted to voluntarily agree to participate and to help the other counties with the legal fees. And again, I would say they're representing all the landowners throughout Iowa who are resisting eminent domain, not just the landowners in their county right now. So I can make a case in my mind for us joining in on that. There are 2 letters on the agenda. I did send them to the county attorney's office, and what I got back from there was from Crystal Rink, who's now doing our civil work, said that they are standard boilerplate. They're basically, she had no problems with us accepting those letters and participating in the representation. So
I do have a, excuse me, a question. So you, were you done speaking? I'm
Sure.
sorry. Okay. I guess my one question is, you mentioned that Tim Whipple said we could no longer be an intervener.
Mhm.
So explain to me the difference here. If we can't be an intervener, kind of what does that?
An intervener would give us more standing in terms of the case. Okay, but basically what's happening is all the counties have kind of gone together and agreed, and they have a couple lead people who are working with the attorney. Okay, so at this point it's simply support. Okay. It would be supporting the other counties that are paying the bills, you know, to resist eminent domain on behalf of the landowners. You know, I think that I did get a list from the Sierra Club. We have
I can share it with you. There are a lot of people in Story County who are resisting eminent domain.
And the 100,000 that's currently been spent so far, and
They would not charge us. If they told me is they would not charge us. Then this is when we thought we would be intervening. And they said, no, we wouldn't charge for anything that already had gone on. It would just be if you would pay a share of of the going forward expenses.
And then are the shares, is it just an even?
It's
across?
even. It's just equal. It's not based on population or anything like that, or your budget or anything like that. It's just equal shares. The other alternative that Mr. Whipple did say in his email was that since we couldn't intervene right now, if we wanted to wait and see if there was an appeal of an IUB decision, we could join in and intervene at that time. That doesn't help the counties, the small counties that are paying the legal expenses right now. It just it would help keep it going if there were a good legal reason to, and I don't know what you don't know right now because you don't know what the IUB decision is going to be. You don't know what the grounds for appeal would be. So we would be engaging Allers and Cooney to act on our behalf, and we would be agreeing to pay some of the legal fees. We could put a limit on it if you'd want to do that. We would not be named as an intervener, but the way it's going right now, I don't think that makes any real difference. There have been lots more questions raised lately. You may have noticed about the whole carbon capture issue. And the most recent one has been about LLCs associated with Summit. You might have seen the article that are getting water permits to extract a huge amount of water from our aquifers at the time that our aquifers are running dry. So I look at this as a landowner issue. I also look at it as an environmental issue for our farmland. Eventually, we've got aquifers going dry just to the west of us. And there's been a lot of concern about carbon capture and continuing the ethanol industry at its current pace and what that is doing to our land and our water. There are a lot of reasons to have concern about carbon pipelines coming through Story County and through Iowa. And I'll stop there. I wish we had done this sooner, though. I wish we had realized sooner that there was a possibility to intervene. We could have had a more complete discussion about it, I think. But it has been brought up to me, so I told our fellow supervisors who brought it up that I would bring it up for our consideration. Any other questions?
I don't think I have other questions. I guess I'm just trying to think of, I know I'm just trying to think of other potential suits that other counties have been a part of that are kind of taking the brunt. And while, yes, we may be part of that as well, about jumping in and paying for the costs. I guess that's just my concern at this particular, or my thoughts at this particular time. I understand what you're saying. I don't know if being an intervener would have been better for us or not. I totally understand what you're saying too, that you don't know that it makes a difference, or or not. I think that you're more into, because you've been working with the work group and stuff, that I'm just.
Yeah, I wish we would have had this conversation earlier. But,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, I don't like bringing it now because the first thing I asked them is, "Well, I wish you'd got hold of us earlier." And they said, well, we didn't, but we're talking to you now. And I
Yeah.
understand that. They've been, the folks in those counties have been working really hard on this issue. So I'm not going to fault him for not getting to us sooner. So,
What do we gain by joining in this besides helping out with the financial costs for the county?
nothing. Nothing other than knowing that we're doing our fair share. That's what I think. We don't get listed as an intervener, but there's a saying about integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody's looking. I think it's the right thing. And like I said, I wish it would have come in a different way. I almost thought about just pulling the item, but I thought, no, I thought we deserved to have for our landowners and for our fellow county supervisors, I thought we deserved to have a full discussion of it.
mhm.
I can make a motion unless you have more things you want to,
I don't think I have any other questions.
I don't have any questions. My struggle is not right thing, wrong thing, so much as the I don't, I just, I don't. I'm struggling with the idea of contributing financially to help them out. Just does not feel appropriate. I understand what you're saying. Mm. If you want to go ahead and make a motion, that's fine. Unless there's further discussion.
No, I think I have similar concerns as well, but
okay. I'll make a motion so we have one on the record. I would move that we authorize the chair of the Board of Supervisors to sign the engagement letter with Allers and Cooney regarding the matter of hazardous liquid pipeline permits and regulations, and that further we agree to a maximum of $10,000 towards representation costs from the county general fund.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Okay. Thank you for considering it.
Thank you. Okay, moving to departmental reports. We have no departmental reports, other reports, any upcoming agenda items? Okay, no agenda items. Now it's time for public comment number 2. Comments from the public on items not on this agenda. The board may not take any action on comments due to requirements of open meetings law, but may do so in the future. Anyone wishing to make public comment, you can step forward to the table or raise your hand on Zoom. Seeing no one raise their hand or step forward, we'll close public comment number 2 and move to liaison assignments, committee meeting updates and announcements from the supervisors. Supervisor Heddens, do you want to start?
Sure, I'm here today. I'll be leaving early for an eye appointment. Tomorrow morning, I'm doing a ride along with the sheriff's department, so I'll be with that all morning. And then in the afternoon, I have a transportation meeting. Excuse me, Thursday, I have the strategic plan discussion, and then in the afternoon, I'm doing a jail observation with the sheriff's department. Friday, I've got on my calendar a couple interviews, and I also have a DCAP meeting. Monday, I have the opioid planning meeting on my agenda. So kind of a busy week.
Great. Supervisor Merkin?
Sure. Let's see, nothing else on the agenda for today. Tomorrow, the Aranet public launch starts over at Iowa State, and it goes on for about 3 days. I'm going to try to be at the opening of that and some of the workshops to figure out what exactly, where that technology is right now and how that's going to kind of help fill in some of the gaps with rural broadband. Got a strategic planning discussion Thursday morning, then a mitigation plan with emergency management discussion on that. Does that work? Friday. It looks like I have planning and development interviews in the afternoon. And then Monday, again, opioid planning meeting and conservation Monday evening. So that's my week.
Today I've got a Go Green Teen subcommittee meeting. Tomorrow I have a personal appointment in the morning. In the afternoon, I've got NACO Justice and Public Safety Steering Committee and Boost Processing Committee meeting in the evening. Thursday, I have strategic planning meeting, an alternatives arrest diversion meeting, and Technology Service Bureau Subcommittee meeting on Thursday. Friday, I've got Story County Mental Health Task Force meeting. I don't know if either of you were planning to attend that or got that invite.
Didn't get it.
I can forward it to you if you're interested.
Not recall seeing it either.
And then planning and development interviews. And then there's a ribbon cutting at Iowa State for the grain elevator, the Kent Feed Center.
Oh, good. I'm not able to go to that. I've got a conflict, so I'm glad you're going.
And then Monday, opioid planning meeting. And then there's a 2040 progress meeting for the city of Nevada that is happening that day also. I've been kind of zooming in and just listening as they're working on their plan. That is my week. So anything further?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Heddens.
Aye.
Merkin.
Aye.
Basil. Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you.